This video is how to hold the Atlas adjustment. So think of it as a simple sprain where the head meets the neck. Now the head is as heavy as a bowling ball. So when you sprain where the head meets the neck, it's these ligaments, these supporting structures here, these ligaments here that have been strained, stretched, with some degree of instability, depending on how bad the sprain is. If you sprain your ankle, you put your ankle in a boot so you can walk on it for a period of time, a few weeks, then you can take the boot off and you can walk, and that sprained ankle will have healed up. It's different here because the head is this heavy bowling ball that you're trying to move through space. You're trying to brush your teeth. You're trying to do your normal activities, but you can't. Very often we have to wear a soft foam collar, and at the very least you have to act like you're wearing a soft foam collar. Now, I was in a wheelchair for 15 months looking like I was dying of AIDS, but it was an environmental illness, and it was because my Atlas was out. When my Atlas got put back in, I didn't notice anything for 3 days, but after 3 days of holding the adjustment, I started to thrive. I was no longer allergic to my environment, external and internal. I thrived. My life changed completely. And I held that adjustment for 21 years. Now, I was very scared to knock my Atlas out, and I was a doctor, so I understood this principle about how to knock your Atlas out. So it's really important that you realize that the ligaments that hold the neck right here at the top, they're responsible for this kind of a movement. You can't bring your head up like this or bring your head forward too far. You have to act like you're wearing a collar, and you have to really be careful of it and respect the adjustment. I've had people that as soon as they leave the office, they turn their head as far as they can to one side to put the seatbelt on without even thinking about it. And then they've knocked themselves out of adjustment when they're in the car, and they notice no difference. A lot of times you really have to hold the adjustment 3 days for all this life-changing stuff. So you probably came in to see me because a family or a friend hand-delivered you because they said they've been cured and it's a miracle and you just can't believe it, but you've got to hold the adjustment. So I had a couple of stories. I had one person that was going out of adjustment, and when I showed her, I said, look, do you understand? It's these movements here. It's the first, that's where it is. She realized that her husband would come up and do something called blowing a raspberry. So he'd come up and make this annoying noise and put spittle right here on her neck, and she would do this movement. Ow, you're freaking me out. And that was knocking her out of adjustment. As soon as he stopped doing that, she held her adjustment and probably is holding it to this day, which was years ago. So I had another guy out of adjustment. Oh my gosh, every other day he's coming back in. 8 months I'm adjusting him. I gave him a whole list of restrictions. Come to find out, when he got out of the shower, he would take his towel, rear back, and throw it up over the top rung, and that's what he was doing to knock himself out of adjustment. Now keep in mind, I was telling him every day, be very careful, it's these movements, and he wasn't aware of it because he was doing a gesture that he'd been doing since he was a child. He clicked into a gear where he wasn't even thinking anymore, just like when you put the seatbelt on, or you brush your teeth really aggressively. Anyway, long story short, as soon as that guy stopped putting his towel over the rung when he got out of the shower, as soon as he stopped doing that, he held his adjustment, and about 3 weeks later, he went up to Walt Disney World, got on a ride, came back, he pulled a muscle in his neck. I re-x-rayed him, he held his adjustment. And that's the thing, it's just a movement. Very often people get frustrated, I don't understand, what am I doing? It's an oddball thing, it's a fussy thing, but it's a simple thing. It's a ligament that holds right up here, holds your head on. And once you figure out that one thing you're doing and you stop doing that, people hold and they do great and they get what they're looking for. Thank you.